Hey everybody, I'm Jester, this is Phoebe. Welcome into episode 13.
What's up, guys?
Lucky number 13 of Too Much Intimacy. We're your favorite pillow talk couple that does drugs.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that. I do really love the drugs, I'm not going to lie. I love them. And I feel like we do the good drugs.
We do pretty good with our drugs.
Like, I feel like the kind...
Sorry.
I just feel like I really respect them, and also I respect how we do them. You know? Oh, God.
Noob.
Oh, God. Are you okay?
I think I'm going to be alright.
Okay.
What do you mean you respect how we do them?
I respect how we do them because I feel like we're really intentional people or something. I don't know. When I think about like how I experimented with drugs when I was in college, it was totally different because I was like figuring it out. You know?
Yeah.
Like I smoked weed for the first time when I was 18. Yeah, I think I was 18.
Do you remember what?
Maybe 19.
Do you remember the experience?
Yes, I do remember the experience.
Do you want to tell us?
Sure. So my boyfriend at the time, him and all of his friends were like big stoners.
I like them already.
They were cool. I was really lucky to land in that group.
I approve of this ex.
Cool. But yeah, I feel like I hung out with them for like maybe 6 months or so before I ever like smoked weed. And then everyone was really excited. They're like, Kellyanne's gonna smoke weed for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was like such a thing. I feel like they got all the pieces like ready and they're like, well, which one do you want to smoke out of? And they're like recommending, oh, maybe you should start with this.
Pipes or like like what was the...
I think the first thing I smoked out of was a bubbler. So it was like a smaller one, like probably this big.
Nice.
And I don't know, to like filter through the water. I guess it was like less harsh.
I'm surprised we've never gotten some sort of filter, like water filtering thing.
I don't know. I feel like since I moved to New York, like the weed culture here was just like really different. I feel like the West Coast, or like where I grew up in Arizona, it was more like all about the big things, or like the fancy gadgets, and like, or maybe that was just me being in college. It was like, oh,
yeah, it could have been a young person.
We have a couple friends with like 6-foot bongs, you know,
right.
like that's totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I moved to New York, maybe because it's like a city and everyone has small spaces, but like
you can't fit a 6-foot bong in your
I think I only had like
apartment.
one friend that had a bong, and it was like, you know, I had a pink bong. It was like so, it's like clear pink glass.
Why is that so sexy?
Simple. It was like, you know, like a tasteful size.
Yeah.
But I had to give it away when I moved.
Oh.
Because it used to all be illegal, so it was like, you can't like, if you've had something for a while, you can't really clean the weed off it completely, and then it's like illegal to take it across state lines, or I don't know, to like get caught with it.
Do you think it found a good home?
I can't remember. I think I gave it to someone, but
I'm sure they treated it well.
I don't know. Anyway, I hope that ping pong maybe it's still around, or...
Yeah. My first experience with a bong, I think it kind of made me not like bongs, and it wasn't a fair experience to the bong. I was at a party back in the day, like an apartment party in the city, and it was like all my nerd friends from the street. And my nerd friends.
What does that mean, nerd friends from the street?
Like, well, okay, so it's
people
like
that sold tickets.
People that sold tickets, and we were like gonna watch Harry Potter. I think we were watching 2 movies of Harry Potter. I think that's what the party was. The last 2.
Oh, it's a long party.
Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe the guy who was hosting the apartment had been watching Harry Potter, and you know. He threw it on, and I had never seen it at the time. I think this was my first time seeing it. I think I saw the first one when I was a kid, but anyway, I don't remember which Harry Potter movie we were seeing because I wish I could remember the name of this thing. But basically, it was you take a hit of a bong, and when it's still in your lungs, you do a shot.
Oh my God, so stupid.
And then you breathe the thing out.
I think there's a word for that.
There is, and I can't remember what it was.
It's like a knockout or something.
Is it a knockout? Kind of sounded
something like that.
Correct. Anyway, I could barely do the bong. I couldn't keep the bong hit down because I wasn't a big smoker at the time. This is probably when I was like 25, 26. And I was just like coughing my face off, and I was so stoned. I was like, I know I'm watching Harry Potter movies, no idea what's happening. This is why I always say I never saw Harry Potter because I just got ripped and
yeah.
I was like, I have no idea what happened. Yeah. So and I feel like that's not the purpose of a bong. A bong at its best cools the smoke as it goes to your lungs, you know?
Right.
It's a beautiful, you know, it's a healthy way. It's like, honestly, it should be the hippie way.
I think if we had a bong now, we would like really treat it right.
Yeah.
You know, like like if you think about like a college bong, like, you know, I would like change the water regularly, but like it's just nice to have a perfectly clean bong.
Oh yeah.
But it's hard to, cause I feel like it was kind of hard to keep it clean. Or maybe I just like didn't have the skills and the tenacity.
I mean, I feel like if we were going to do it now, we would clean the bong after every use. I don't think we would be nightly bong people.
I don't know. I don't want to go. I don't want to. I'm not too serious about bongs. I don't know that I want to continue talking about this.
I want to get a little bubbler. Anyway, so your time smoking, your first time was out of this little bubbler.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to finish that story?
I think we should try.
Oh my gosh.
Well, did you get
try not to interrupt me?
Sorry. She just wants to run the whole podcast again. Just kidding. You've had a couple good podcasts where you, like, you know, you've driven the whole thing. And you're doing a good job. And I'm going to support you in that.
I'm going to try to, like, I don't know. Should I just pretend like you're not joking? Are you joking? Are you being sarcastic?
I don't even know. Whatever it is that will keep the podcast flowing.
No.
Oh. Do you want me to tell my first time getting stoned story?
I just want you to be a nice kitten.
I love you.
All right.
All right, guys. This is...
I accept your love. I'm going to tell my story now.
Okay.
So, okay. The first like hit or two that I had, we were trying to like start like gentle. I did not actually get high, but like we like had this idea like, oh, like I loved playing The Sims, and for somebody had an idea and they're like, oh, do you want to like play on the computer? I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea. I was kind of doing that. I was like vaguely high, but not really. And then we went back to my boyfriend at the time. We went back to his place, just me and him, to like his apartment. And we're like, okay, let's like, I didn't really feel that high. I'm like, let's smoke again. Mm-hmm. So then we smoked again, and this time I got high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I went to the place of like, what is consciousness?
Oh, first time, huh? Beautiful.
And I was like, I had that moment of being like, just taken out completely of like whatever I thought my lived experience was, and being like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like the awareness of like I have a consciousness, I'm in a body, I'm in this place, like this like built universe, and I'm like, what is this? And I kind of like, I don't know, freaked out is the wrong word, but I was just like, whoa. And I guess I did get a little bit freaked out because I wanted to like talk to someone. I think I was like trying to like ground myself.
Yeah.
So we called my friend Jack, and I was
Jack's
like,
a good guy.
he's the best.
Jack.
He's the best guy. I actually haven't even shared the podcast with him yet.
Well, we haven't shared the podcast with too many people.
Anyway, called Jack, and I think it was just like, hey, I'm high. And I was like, is this real? Like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you're just high. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I remember I wanted to listen to some music, and we turned on the radio, like it was just like alarm clock radio, going through the different stations, and like polka music came on.
Polka.
And I just laughed hysterically. It just like tickled my soul in the craziest way. It was a good time.
That's nice, babe. You got polka music. That's amazing. My first stoned experience was not quite as gentle as yours. It was a party at my boy JD's house, and
had he smoked weed before you?
No, yeah, he'd been doing the weed for a little while. He's my BFF from high school and second grade. We went in third grade.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had I don't know exactly when he started smoking. I think like probably 16, 17 or so.
Oh, he started early.
No, maybe he had started
in high
drinking.
School.
I don't know if he got into weed in high school. I think he was always on the cutting edge of substances. I was like the kid, the guy, I was like the conservative one who was like trying to, I'm scared to do the stuff. So he started drinking way before me, and he started smoking shortly after that. I don't know. Time is a flat circle. Who knows? But
he was more seasoned.
He was more seasoned, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just spent 5 minutes of the podcast trying to figure out when the first time my buddy smoked is. Anyway, so we were just having a party at his place, and it was a crossfade. This is my first bunch of experiences with marijuana were crossfaded because I came from a drinking culture, and marijuana worked its way in. Anyway, so we were having a party at his place one summer when I was 21, and I just started drinking. So it was very exciting also, I was like, oh, T-Bone's finally, drinking. And so I was going hard.
When did you start drinking?
When I was 21.
Oh, okay.
I was
waited
a good
until
boy.
It was legal.
I waited until it was legal.
Okay. Good job.
Yeah, I'm so cool. And actually, okay, this experience was before it was legal in Colorado. I don't know. I never had to go buy it or anything. But anyway, Johnny got it, and we were listening to Pink Floyd in the dark, and it was awesome. It was just like, yeah, it's just like feeling the music, closing the eyes. I think I was just like rocking, And then the fucking asshole started skipping on this track. He started like skipping around the song, so it sounded like there was a scratch on the CD. And I was like, what's happening? Because I couldn't tell. I thought the song was just getting crazy fucked up because he started skipping around on it. So he tortured me. He really threw me into a little.
He was trying to fuck with you?
He was trying to fuck with me, yeah. And it worked. It's terrifying. I was blown away.
I get so mad about that. I know it's not cool.
About people fucking with you when you're high?
I get so mad when people do that to people. I'm like, just let them have a good time. Like, why you gotta be like crazy like that?
You're the sweetest person. You're the sweetest little kitten, babe.
I get so mad.
I think my crew of people were like kind of the
well, I get it. Also, I think when you're young, it's kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, if you're drinking alcohol, like you're just an asshole. You're like, ah.
Yeah. Alcohol and weed together, man. That's not a fun combo. I mean, you think it is, but like that's how I got to know weed. I didn't really have a strong opinion of weed because weed was just this thing that I added to my drink and made me go crazy. So I was like, whatever, I'm not that.
You never thought to just smoke weed by itself?
No, well, not at the start, because I would only do it like, I never went to like weed parties. I didn't have people around.
Weed parties?
Is that a thing? I didn't, like, my roommates didn't smoke. I didn't have a girlfriend who was smoking. Like, it was like it's like, maybe a joint will come around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wasn't in a weed culture.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so it was like, oh, it'd show up at a party when I was drinking, and then I would just be like crazy, get the panic attacks to the whole.
That's probably why when I met
thing.
you were like, oh, I don't smoke weed. I was like,
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh,
I
really?
didn't much.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of introduced me to. I didn't really smoke weed a whole lot until COVID, I think.
No, we started smoking when we were falling in love. I got you to start smoking a little, and we had a really good time. Do you remember?
Well, do you remember? Are we talking about the time up in Connecticut?
I'm talking about when I was living in Williamsburg, and you would come over, and we would like have a little puff off the joint, and we would go walk through the park, and we would just talk, and we would get ice cream, and
it was so
be
fun.
fucking crazy horny all the time.
We were so horny, and your bedroom was you were living with two good friends.
A couple.
A couple. And so I was good friends with them also. They were like we did theater together, and shout out.
Should we talk? Okay.
Shout out Roxy Foxy if you. Anyway, so for me it was just the happiest thing in the world because it was just like I gotta go hang out with this hot babe, and like I get to hang out with Roxana and Sam, who are like super interesting people, and we're doing theater together. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finding my like pocket of my people, you know. Yeah, it just felt really good. And then you had this tiny bed. It was so fun. You guys would cook stuff. We would have like variety
I had a
parties.
tiny bed.
Yeah, no, you had a tiny room.
Your
bed took your whole room.
It was a tiny room. It was cute though.
It was super cute.
It's just like a white shoe. It was like a white box, but it was like a pristine white box.
Yeah.
The lighting was perfect. I had
so cozy.
I had that little like wall. It was like a chandelier, but it was like a wall sconce with like the little crystal drops, and I had it on a dimmer.
Yeah.
And then it was just white, like sheer white curtains on the walls and in front of my like shelves. It was so nice. It was like heaven.
It was. We had a lot of sex in that room.
Okay.
I thought you.
I got like totally distracted. I don't even know where we were trying to go with this story.
I don't either.
Oh, I was remembering though that during that time, I remember one time Roxana was like, I think that you're smoking too much weed. And I was like, I remember I got so mad. I think she said later, she was like, I shouldn't have said that to you. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like anytime you're going to tell someone they're doing too much of something, you're risking being kind of that guy. You know, there's two types of people who drink too much and people that tell people who drink too much they drink too much.
Well,
that's
I feel like I don't want to, that's like it's in a sensitive territory.
I'm so stoned right now.
Alcohol is like a different category than weed, I think.
Yeah. But the substancing too much it's different.
Anyway, I feel like we smoked the perfect amount of weed.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like for me, I feel like I get real, like, with the weed. I feel like...
What's this?
Like, just, I like to do it, like, just the right way.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to get sloppy with it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you know, once in a while maybe it is fun, but like 90% of the time, I like to try to smoke the just right amount. That doesn't mean I like to get like only a teeny bit high, but
you like to like find the
I
peak.
like to feel in control. I like to feel the arc.
Yeah.
Of like I get high and then I come down and then I neutral out and then I start the cycle again.
No, I'm a wild. I don't have control of. I think that is a great way to do it. I would like to do that. I'm working on becoming that type of stoner, but currently I'm still a wild stoner who gets way too high sometimes, and I think it's because I started this shit, you know, with alcohol. I'm an alcoholic smoker.
Interesting.
You know, my weed patterns are more based on drinking. So now that I'm like mostly doing weed, I still have that tendency to
want to do them together.
Well, to want to do them together, yes, but also just to like give into that like wild side, you know, go a little further, you know.
We want to go into the deep end.
Get a little lost in the deep end.
Which sometimes ends in a panic attack.
Yeah. Not fun. What if I had a podcast panic attack? I'm just kidding. That would not be funny.
I don't think we would publish that.
Oh man. Lucky number 13, huh?
Oh, yeah.
This is the one. Are we going to start showing these things to people now?
Well, like, sure.
So, like, we're going to start putting it on our Instagram and stuff?
We're going to come out to the people.
As
I'm not going to put this on my Instagram.
You're not going to put it, you're not going to, like, story it? The fuck is the point of doing a podcast? You don't want anybody to listen to it?
I don't know. I don't know what the point of doing the podcast is. I want to share it with people, but I do feel...
Well, we could put it behind the close friends wall.
That's true. So I went through my Instagram already because I started posting some stuff about like psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went and hid. I just basically, family members who I'm just like, they're not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I just put them on, they can't see my stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel a little bit weird, my relationship with Instagram.
Yeah.
Like
you took it off your phone this weekend.
Yeah, I did that also another weekend. It's really nice. I feel like it just like knocks me off my rocker in a way that is unnecessary sometimes. Like the thinking about like what people can see. Like I feel like it inhibits sometimes me being my like genuine self, or it just gets me in my head about stuff, and like I just want to live my life and like not really think about what people are thinking of me, or like, oh, is a work person gonna see that? Like I don't know.
It's so annoying. It just adds this constant. It's just another thing. It's like, you know, not the stress, but the enjoyment and the stress of like getting dressed up to go look good at a party. It's like you got to do that also. Like for me, that's very difficult. For you, it's easy because you're amazing. But it like, you know, comes with the stress. For me, that's what it feels like to me. Is like, oh God, now I have to do this online also. Now I have to have an online version of this.
I also think there's no pressure. I think we really don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
With, like, I don't know. We can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want.
It's our fucking podcast.
It's our fucking podcast.
We can share. We can not share it.
You don't have to share it if you don't want to, babe. I'll feel very ashamed if you don't tell all your family about it, but, you know. I'm joking.
There was that moment where I was on my computer and I'm just trying to send you the artwork for the podcast so you could upload it. Uh-huh. And I sent it to my sister instead. And it was like, I had everything. It had like the name of the podcast, our fake names, our picture.
You think you unsent it quickly enough, right?
I think I did and I don't think she saw it because she never mentioned anything to me. So,
you know what? I would be cool with our siblings listening to the podcast.
I think I would be cool with that too. The only thing is that one of my sisters is not good at keeping anything secret.
Uh-oh. Which one you want to
So then I feel like, no. But so then I feel like my parents will find out. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe people will be like, whatever, they're doing a podcast. Like, it's not a big deal. But I feel like for us, it is kind of a big deal. Like, it takes up a significant amount of our time and our, you know, we do it every week pretty much.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anybody's going to want to watch it, you know?
I don't know. I guess it's more like, I guess it's like when you have things in your life, like, I feel like when you talk to family, it's like a normal thing for them to know the things that are going on in your life.
Right.
Like, you know.
So a podcast you would think would be exactly what they wanted.
Exactly the kind of thing that you would share with family if they're cool.
Yeah. Well.
But you know what? I'm going to put the spotlight on you.
Yeah. Well, see, this
about your Substack because you talk about doing drugs on your Substack and you had this thing published and I was like, oh, you should you should tell people because like they'll be really excited that your writing was published. But you shared with one parent and not the other. So
Well,
the other parent doesn't even know that you have a Substack.
She does not. No, so that was an interesting, so that like happened. I basically, I was forced to tell my father that I have a Substack.
What do you mean you were forced?
By like my aunt. My aunt read my stuff in Tangle. And she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you had a Substack." And she made her brother read it because my dad wouldn't otherwise.
But she didn't just find. She's not that she's a Tangle reader, and
she is a Tangle reader.
Okay, but she also like looks at all your stories.
I don't think she does. I don't have that many people look at my stories, babe. Okay. That's the thing. This is what I'm saying. Like, my parents are not on social media, so if I do post it, it's like
they are, babe. Your dad and your aunt, I see them. Okay. Your dad posts all the time, and all of your Instagram stuff goes to Facebook.
But they're not on Instagram, so that's why it's fine to do it behind. Anyway, it's behind the closed, behind the green circle.
I see.
But anyway, so my aunt texts me. And then my dad's like, you have a Substack. So I send it to him.
Okay.
And then I said, like, by the way, there's some drug content if you don't want to read what your son is up to. And then like the next day or later that day, he was like, mushrooms, huh?
So he went and read it and then brought it
He went and read it. He's like, how are mushrooms? And so I told him.
Yeah, what did you say about mushrooms?
Well, my phone is recording. Otherwise, I'd read it to you because I gave an intentional review to my father. I was like, it's really great. It's mostly, I can't even remember what I said, but I talked about like the visuals. How the visuals were like kind of secondary part of it, but I described like the saturated, the saturated of the colors and the like. The geometric patterns. I thought he'd be interested in the geometric patterns.
Because he's a nerd?
Because he's a nerd and he's a scientist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just told him that, and he's like, cool.
You didn't tell him anything about expanding consciousness?
No. Oh, well, no, I said, I don't think I did, no. We should look. I said it was like it made you feel really good in your body. Because it does.
But you didn't really make it sound that different from weed. Because he knows about weed, and he smokes weed.
He knows about weed. I guess I feel like my psychedelic... I haven't, like... Even the, like, guided trip that I did, I feel like it wasn't... Well, how did you just describe it?
Was it what? Expanding your consciousness?
I feel like my consciousness has reached about as expanded as it can handle right now. So I feel like so
you wouldn't describe mushrooms as that?
They're not. That's not what they're doing to me right now.
Oh, interesting.
They have before. I mean, like, I'm probably just not taking a big enough dose.
Well, what are they do? But what do you mean? Like, we describe what they are doing though for you.
I think so. I remember during the guided trip, my body just felt really good. You've seen this happen before. I'm just like, oh God, it's so good to have a body. And I'm just wanting to stretch and oh my God, it tastes so good to drink water. Like all those things. It's like you can feel when you breathe, you feel the air, you feel your cells taking in the nutrients that you're giving them. I fucking love it. So I mean, that was, when I first experienced that was consciousness expanding, absolutely. But now I feel like it's not as novel. It's just a reminder. It's just like, oh yeah, dude, everything is awesome. It's just, everything is good. And then you look and like the colors are saturated and then, so, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like marijuana's got a dominant energy. Gray told me the marijuana plant had it was a very dominant plant. So.
What do you mean, in your life specifically?
No,
or
like it has a dominant energy. Like she fucking gets your attention. I can't wait for you to meet Gray. I'm talking to her on Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, cool.
I just got caught up in my head about accidentally having misgendered Gray.
No, Gray, it said in Gray's
Oh, that's right.
signature,
Gray, it did say.
she, he,
She,
they.
he,
So
they.
you can use any one.
I get so in my head about this stuff. This might be our worst podcast. I feel like I'm doing terrible.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Never mind.
Why do you feel like that?
I feel like I'm, I don't know. I'm stoned. I'm off my rocker. I'm not being entertaining. I'm too far.
We're just talking, babe. Everything's good.
Everything's good.
You're being totally normal.
I'm totally normal.
This is sometimes what you have to reaffirm a high person.
You're being totally normal.
Yeah.
And then the high person is like, okay, I'm being a little high, aren't I?
No. Well, that's what I don't know. When I get too high, that's like, I'll tell myself in my head sometimes, I'm like, don't worry about it, just be normal. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I forget that sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm high. I can't take my mind off of how high I am. Wow, look at how high I feel.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, I think it's probably smarter to be like, everything's normal.
Everything's totally normal.
I can handle this.
Yeah, well, I was so curious to hear about how you described mushrooms to your dad, because I've thought about before. I've had the conversations in my head, because I've thought like, oh, maybe we will tell our parents that we take psychedelic. Or like, it could come up because I did post something to my grid on my Instagram, and I said like all these pictures, and one of them it said like I tagged psychedelic assembly. And it's like, this is what the picture's brief description.
Yeah.
So knowing my mom, who is a snoop.
Does your mom go to your...
I don't know, but she just snoops. I just know that she's always been a snoop my whole life. She's a fucking snoop.
Yeah.
So I can see her being like, oh, so like, Kellyanne, I was on your Instagram and I saw this psychedelic assembly thing. Like, what is that? You know, I can see her just like asking me straight up about it.
How would you describe the psychedelic assembly?
I think if she asked me straight up about it, I would tell her.
Yeah.
I think I would. Anyway, I've imagined what this conversation would be like with my parents.
Yeah. I think you should. I think you would.
Yeah, I don't know. I do still have a lot of like fear around it. I'm just like thinking about, this is bad. This is going to sound bad.
Oh, I can't wait.
So, you know how over Christmas we were hanging out with your aunt who's gay, and she has a partner who I don't know that they're married, but they're basically married.
Yeah.
And her partner, I mean, and they're like your parents' age. I don't know how old she is, but maybe they're in their 60s or late 50s.
Yeah.
And basically your aunt's partner or wife, her parents do not know that she's gay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And she sees them regularly, and
that's crazy talk.
she is in the closet about her sexuality.
Man.
And I think they have never asked specifically, or I don't know. And I think her siblings also don't know.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
And I was surprised. I heard about this before I had ever talked to her.
Yeah. And
then when we hung out, it came up. Somehow something like that came up. And she was like, your aunt was basically like, well, you know, it's kind of like, they're extremely conservative. She kind of knows that like it wouldn't be accepted by them.
Yeah.
And her family has a lot of money.
Right,
like, I don't know how,
right.
a huge amount of wealth. And basically like, it's kind of like, well, she knows that if she tells them, she's going to get like cut out of the will.
Yeah.
So they
might just all be ignoring it.
But I don't know. I feel it always feels icky when you bring money into things.
I know, it sucks.
I feel like I don't have a fear of that extreme of a thing happening to me, like being cut off from my family, like relationally and, you know, whatever, financial, not that we have a lot of financial support, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I've had this fear that like my family will not really like treat me as a whole person anymore. Like, I feel like it kind of took me a long time to earn the respect of my parents, or for them to, like, treat me like an adult.
Yeah.
Even sometimes now I'm like, all right, you're doing a little over-explaining about some things.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like,
that's what parents, they're always going to do that.
That's what they do.
That's what being a boomer is.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's the piece of control I just don't want to let go of. I don't know that I'm ready to let go of it yet. I could be.
You don't have to.
I could be if the scenario presented itself.
I think you are ready, but that doesn't mean you need to provoke it.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready to talk. I would even talk to my mom about it if it came up. I'm like trying not to have the conversation with my mom, but it's like I'm also not hiding. I'm not hiding the fact that I have a Substack, you know. I'm promoting
it's true.
my
She could
Substack.
see it. She could
see it, and she hasn't, you know.
You're just letting
She hasn't brought it up.
You're just letting it go to the fairies of fate.
I'm letting it go to the fairies of fate. I'm not like gonna like try to, you know. You don't have to read my shit if you don't want to read my shit. But like, you know, it's out there. So if you're checking, you can check it. Yeah. So I thought my dad probably had seen it, but I think he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know who looks at my Instagram. I don't go through and like check the stories. I just check the numbers. I'm like, oh, 40 people. Oh, this one only got 20.
Really? That's what you do?
Yeah. I mean, I see who gives it hearts. If you want my attention, give it a heart or a laugh.
You know what I do?
Huh.
This is personal. I do look, and I look at every person who looks at it.
Yeah.
And you know what I do? But I know what you mean, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, well, sometimes I'll post a story and like 90 people look at it. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you imagine like 90 people at a party, that's like, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Anyway, or sometimes it'll be like 20 people.
Yeah.
Or like under 40 people. And I tell myself I'm interested in it, because sometimes there's people who look at it and I'm like, I connected with this person like 5 or 6 years ago over some like not random, but like something that I was doing that I'm not doing anymore. And I'm like, whoa, this person is still like, I'm assuming they remember me. Like how I look at stories is like, I only look at stories of people who I'm interested in.
Yeah.
There's people who I follow who I'm like, I don't fucking care.
My rotation is like 5, 6 people.
But like a lot of people, even if I don't even talk to them, or I like know them from some random time in my life so many years ago, I do feel like a connection to them still, and I do look at their stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I try to like take it in as like, oh, these people are, I take it as a compliment. I'm like, oh, these people are interested.
It's huge. Yeah.
Even if it's only 20 people, I'm like, look at that random person.
Yeah. That's that's such a beautiful way to look at it. I don't have this mentality, because like social media is connected to just like, oh, you're an actor, you need to have a real good Instagram, you need to get followers, you get cast based on how many followers you have,
right?
Shit like that.
Yeah,
so like I'm just being like, I'm going for numbers, you know. Like,
I'm going for the numbers.
How'd this one do? 76 views, nice. You know, I got 4 hearts on that one.
I feel like they do set it up like a video game. It's kind of hard. It's hard not to get sucked into that, and I do feel that too sometimes, which I think is why I force myself to like, now it got a little bit too intense, so I'm forcing myself now to like take breaks or like delete the app from my phone on the weekends. Yeah. Because it can really get in there. Yeah. And you're like, where you're just like internally, it's like your body knows. Your body like wants a little boost of validation. It's like, oh, let's check that thing. You know? Yeah. Who's liking my stuff?
Who's liking my stuff?
Who's liking my stuff? But you know what?
Who's putting their eyes on me?
But you know what? The things that I like, there are people. There's this girl that I went to in my undergrad. I went to art school with. Mm-hmm. She was at my art table for like, I'm like, maybe we only had one class together, like freshman year. Mm-hmm. Well, we sat together, you know, like 3 hours twice a week for a year. And I still follow her on Instagram. Haven't seen her since college. Mm-hmm. But she's doing cool stuff, and I love to see what she does. I love her gardening. I sent her something. I think there's a positive and a negative to this like technology relationship thing that you have with people.
It's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
I get to follow around my college crush.
Oh my god.
She does cool stuff. She
Back
goes
to
on hikes.
Kristen.
No, college crush. I have no idea what Kristen's up to.
Oh, okay. Another crush.
A different crush, a much less serious crush, just a college crush.
Okay.
And she and her husband were at one of those, remember when we went up to John and Monica's and saw that troll?
Yeah.
She was with one of those, whatever the artist is. It was somewhere in California. I was like, oh, that's cool.
By the same
trolls.
artist?
I'm assuming it was the same artist. It looked basically the same, but I guess there could be copycats.
No, it could be the same one. Rita was the one we saw.
Rita
Rita the troll.
Yeah, people were very upset because it looked like Rita was getting bending
Rita
over.
was like... Rita was like this.
I thought it was great.
I feel like she was even doing something with her head. Like, it was weird.
It was
and it was
very
huge.
weird.
Like, it was just like, oh, you see this troll's butt.
Yeah, that
She's
was
like spread.
so weird.
Yeah, I wonder. I think they were trying to say something a lot like,
I'm sure.
metaphorically, Rita's getting fucked from behind.
Oh yeah,
Maybe in the butt.
that's probably
By this mining.
by this strip mining of the Colorado mountains.
Yeah.
It is so sad that the mountains are getting mined like they are. I mean, it's I hope they just don't do it too much more in Colorado, because like up near what's the name of the town?
Crestone? That's the only one I can think of.
What's the name of this fucking town? Cripple Creek. Up near Cripple Creek. I am in choppy waters. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. Oh, up near Cripple Creek, there's mining. There's like strip mining of these fucking mountains. Cripple Creek was a mining town, so I don't know what they're mining for, but and it's like you go around the corner, it's like beautiful, perfect everything, and then you go around the corner, and it's just like this industrial fucking mountain. It's like sad. Like you can see the mountains have been cut open. I don't like mining.
You don't like mining?
I don't like mining.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I'm a pro-nature person.
When I took mushrooms 2 weekends ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at your face, you were also on mushrooms, but like a smaller dose.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you as like this tree guy.
Yeah?
I feel like something in your energy is like just like a fucking old tree man.
Dude.
Because you're always talking about how old you are, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I think it's in you. I think it's in your spirit.
Yeah, it's true.
You're just like this, like, I can see you with like one of those wildly gnarly walking sticks.
Yeah.
You're just.
Could you please start calling me a wizard? I want to be called a wizard. Babe, you know what's something that's going to happen tomorrow that I'm nervous about?
What?
I'm going to my first acting class in like 4 months tour.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
so
a brand new
exciting.
group of people.
That's so exciting, babe.
I've only met my scene. Well, no. There's a producer of this film that I was in is also in this class. So I know one person, and then I know I've connected with my scene partner a couple times. Thank God she's cool. We're doing a scene from Proof. I think it's going to be a blast. But I'm still nervous because I haven't met new people in a long time. Like done an acting class, take the risk of like acting in front of strangers.
Well, you've done a lot of acting classes, but I feel like you kind of like stayed at the same studio, and then people like knew you, and you
I was comfortable.
You were comfortable. Now you're going out of your comfort zone.
Now I gotta fucking impress people again. I think, maybe that's just like the thing. Is you should bounce around. You can't stay in one place too long because the people will be, they won't be impressed with you for too long. But they'll get used to you. You'll get used to that eye. You need to be.
It's good to get out of your comfort zone.
It's good to get out of the comfort zone. Anyway, so I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm nervous.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're going back to taking a class, acting class.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun on Zoom with my scene partner. It's fun to just read scenes. Oh, I get to be an actor again. This is fun. I guess this podcast kind of took took the place of acting. Because the last time I went to, it took the place of acting class. The last time I went to acting class was in December. And we started this in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys are seeing a whole arc.
Yeah.
You guys have come into a strange time in our lives.
Well, I'm excited that we have this podcast to come back to these moments later. Should we be wistful if our life ever takes a dramatic turn?
I think we should always be wistful, even if our life just keeps going as it is. We should always be wistful for the past and wistful for the future, and yet completely grounded in the present. This is amazing.
What's amazing?
I'm so high, babe.
You feel good?
I feel great.
That's good. I'm glad you do. I think I want to get something off my chest.
All right, let's hear it. Bring it on. All right, this is Phoebe's
Not about
monologue
you.
corner.
Not about you.
No, okay. All right,
Well,
Phoebe rant time.
I think that on the topic of going out of your comfort zone, I feel like it's funny. So I did a lot of therapy. By the way, if you're a therapist, please, you might want to turn it off now.
Yeah.
You probably didn't make it to this episode, though. Anyway, I'm not saying that about you. I'm saying that about... Anyway, I'm done talking. So... I feel like, okay, so I've done a lot of therapy in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, not like I started a little late. I feel like
You've done a lot of therapy.
But at this point, I'm now 36, 35.
30. You were going to turn 36 this year.
I'm 35, and I maybe started therapy when I was like 26 or something, 27. Mm-hmm.
So you've been in therapy for 10 years.
Did it on and off again, but I did, almost like 10 years of therapy.
Yeah.
I had like a break maybe of like a year.
Yeah.
And some change, but like a lot of therapy. And I did individual therapy, couples therapy, and there was even a year that I did group therapy once a week, along with couples and individual.
You were having so much therapy.
I was like deep fucking
You were getting to
deep
know
as
thyself.
shit into myself.
You were so into yourself.
And like I feel like there's a part of my personality that likes a challenge and likes to go deep.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's do it. I love therapy. Let's get in there. Let's do this hard work. And then I feel like at some point I just got to this place where I was like, I didn't feel good in it.
Yeah.
And also I had like a little bit of a like thing with our therapist, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break from therapy.
Yeah.
And I felt like it felt so good to take that break. It felt so good to like, I don't know, get that time and like mental energy back for myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went back to couples therapy like, I don't know, a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think
maybe it's been more than that. It's been a while.
I don't know. It's been a while.
We went back to couples therapy to like work on some specific things that like we were having difficulty with. And felt like we needed outside help. It felt like, okay, we have to work on this now. This is like really causing a lot of turmoil in our lives.
Yeah.
So we went back for that, and then you were having a hard time. Anyway, I feel like things are pretty good, and so I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Let's get out of couples therapy. I'm done. I feel like I'm done with therapy again.
Yeah, I think it's good to definitely take a break from therapy. It's time. It's also so interesting that you've had basically the same therapist this whole 10 years too.
Yes, and I feel like it kind of reminds me of you going to the same acting studio for a long time. And like, not that I want to go to therapy with someone else, but like I do feel like it kind of became in my comfort zone to like go deep and be like, oh yeah, what is happening there? Where could that come from? Like, let's maybe do some somatic work and like go into that thing and like a meditation and heal that thing. I feel like that almost became just like the norm. That was like going with the flow for me, was doing that.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I'm like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's say no to therapy, even if the therapist is like, I think there's a lot of work to do here. I'm like,
there's always a lot of work to do.
Maybe I don't want to do that work.
There's always a lot of fucking work to do. And I think here's the thing that I'm excited about with this, because I think you and I have a tendency to want to be good people, right?
Yes.
We're like really trying to be the good person. We're trying to do the good thing. We're trying
so
not to
hard.
hurt anybody. We're really trying not to hurt or offend people.
Yeah.
But we can also we're not perfect. We're assholes. We got strong senses of humor and like strong feelings about stuff. So sometimes we're gonna be fucking judgy about stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't have to be, we don't have to like be always thinking about the best way to be. I have to improve myself. I think this whole like always needing to improve yourself is like, it's just related to. It's the same thing with Jesus. It's just like if you always should be improving yourself, that's basically what you grew up with in Christianity, is that you're always like, holding yourself to some perfect standard. And I think it's okay to get messy. I think it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm going to get too high and talk on a podcast.
Or just be like, okay, going back to my first weed experience of like, what is this? It's like, exactly, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm here to do some things. I'm in this earthly body.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like cool, weird, random, bizarre, amazing stuff that can be done here. And like, maybe I don't want to spend that time doing, spiritual, mental surgery on myself.
Right. Yeah. We got to have some fun,
I want to enjoy my life.
Yeah. So let's take the spiritual stuff. Let's lean into the fun side of spirituality, the imagination, not the like, oh, being Jesus. Let's be like, all right, hey, what's the music like? Like let's enjoy the music. Let's enjoy nature. Spirituality is not all self-improvement. In fact, I think self-improvement is like a lie. I think that's a bastardization of spirituality.
I think there's a line. Like
there's a line.
I want to say that I think a certain amount of self-reflection and self-improvement
is very good.
Is necessary.
Yeah, otherwise you're an asshole.
Definitely necessary. Like I wish that.
I wish more people.
I'm like,
I wish your fucking mom had taken therapy.
I know. I don't know that she ever will do therapy. But, like, I think that a certain amount is very important.
Yeah.
If you want to live, I don't know, the kind of, like, a life that feels deeply in touch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the words are coming out hierarchical and they're not meant to.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I just felt like there was a stage with me where like the self-improvement it felt like it just turned into like spending so much time and energy focusing on like the problem. And I know like that's not like proper therapy language.
Mm-hmm.
Like the problem is like, 'cause it, nothing is a problem, but like, it's just like, it just felt like it was hurting me at a point. I felt like I was looking at myself as like diagnostic all the time.
Yeah, and it was something that was telling you you always need to change. Like something's wrong with you. Like there's nothing wrong with you. You are perfect exactly how you are right now. Sure, there are things that can change, but like if you like yourself, do you like yourself right now? Yeah, you're pretty fucking awesome. So, why change shit?
Yeah.
I am excited about the fact that like you're I'm excited about the fact that you're like, I feel like you letting go of this like trying I don't want to use the word perfectionist because it's not the exact perfect word, but
that word sounds correct to me.
You've got to I'm excited for you to let go of the perfectionist a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think it's gonna be fun. I think you're gonna have more fun. You're gonna get a little sloppy.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a space in my life where I have not put a lot of time and energy into being in the imperfect space.
Yeah. I think you've actively avoided it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, most people do.
Probably. I think I felt like for a long time like it was right.
Yeah.
It was just objectively right to try to perfect everything.
Yeah. It's just, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just eventually you realize it's not possible. And then you just got to play around in the imperfection, you know?
Yeah, I think I've come to a place in my, at least like professional, I think about it with work, because that's where I go the most extreme perfectionist.
Yes.
Because that's kind of like my job.
Yeah.
Is like, I think I've been finding the balance of like, you shoot for perfection,
Mm-hmm.
you do, but you like accept that the process is messy and it never comes out like perfectly according to plan. And that's like kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Is like the mistakes help it find itself to its final iteration, which is not even final because it's always going to be changing because it's like a living thing.
Totally.
It's like a living space, but
Yeah. It's like you can't be too perfectionist with your work projects because there's a budget, you know. You don't have unlimited resources, you don't have unlimited funds, you know, you don't have unlimited time.
yeah.
You know, it's so you just do your best, you know, you just like jump towards the vision, you do as good as you can. And I think you have a pretty good vision about like who the ideal you is, and you just do your best being as close to her as possible. And also recognize how, you know, close to her you already are and how great your legs are. I'm going to stop playing with my water bottle, Dick, while I say that.
What are you talking about?
I just had my water bottle right in my lap, and I was like doing this with it the whole time I was talking to you. Guys, if you've made it this far, this is a wild episode.
All right, I think it might be time to wrap it up. But I think what I want to close with, to kind of like jump off of what you were saying and then I got distracted because you went sexy, is like, yes, I think where I want to be right now is like, instead of aiming for like perfect, it's like perfect. When I say perfect, I mean like visually perfect. Like I feel like some new people have come into my life who are like, they're like very image based.
There's a little spider in the podcast. The cats didn't come, but the spider did.
It's kind of a cute spider.
It is.
Anyway, I feel like they're very image based, and I feel like I also have other friends who are more like arty friends.
I don't see the separation
Between the image based people and the arty people?
The art is image based. You mean?
Well, I guess when I say arty, I mean like more art makers. I don't know. Oh, you just confused me.
I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to confuse you.
But maybe you're right. There is a connection there. I think that I have like a distinction in my mind between people who are like kind of, I feel like on the scales of like caring about art and caring about personal vision, and personal like self-image.
Personal
Everyone has a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
And like I think that in my mind there are people who are like more spending a little more time focused on their self-image.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about it, like,
do you mean their physical self-image?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like their style, like how they come across to other people, like
right.
They want to seem cool, they want to be doing cool things, they want to be living the life they want to live, but like they're kind of approaching it from this like anxious, heady place, and like kind of in a way of like they're anxious because they judge
right
what is not what they're striving for.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have friends within the range, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone has a little bit. And I think that I have spent a lot of my life with more focus on the image stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to like get there. I was trying to like do the perfect thing of like, I don't want to be judgy of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was.
Yeah.
And I think where I'm trying to land now is like just like letting go of more of that stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Because I think there is an element of beauty and self-expression and like an image that creates itself without you thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
that is beautiful and incredible,
Mm-hmm.
that you couldn't really consciously create for yourself through this lens
Yeah.
of judgment. And I think that's where I've been like slowly bumbling towards, as I feel like I pick up and put down this like, oh, I care what people think, oh, I don't care,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, anyway.
Yeah. Well, we care what you think, so please give this video a like and comment in the comments.
Did that make
And
any
subscribe.
did that make any sense what I just said?
We'll find out on the replay.
Oh no.
I think it made a lot of sense,
Oh
babe.
my god.
I've been pretty stoned this whole time, so I think this episode might be, I mean, it's possible it's going on the cutting room floor, but I think this is maybe one of our wildest yet. So
I'll take it.
let's do this outro. We doing 2 or 3?
I'm doing 2.
Okay. What's up? Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey guys.
Hope you enjoyed that one.
Hope you enjoyed listening in. Apologies if there were some bumps along the ride, but
Yeah, you guys were in choppy waters
gonna
with us.
try to finish off with a smooth
Smooth outro.
a smooth exit. All right. So, our sign off is to close your eyes and breathe deep into your beautiful soul.
That's right, folks. You heard it first. Close your eyes and breathe deep into your beautiful soul. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Too Much Intimacy.